Did you know a study analyzing trauma data found 8,715 cases of ocular trauma from firearm activities between 2008 and 2014? Ricochets and debris were the top causes of eye damage. That's roughly 4 people per day having their vision permanently impacted over the course of 6 years. Hey guys, this is Josh with AT3 Tactical. How many times have you been to the range and seen a guy shooting with his eye protection sitting on top of his hat? I know, I'm guilty too. 1 catastrophic second. That's all it takes for a ricochet, hot brass, a powder burn, or any serious malfunction with your firearm to steal your eyesight, or worse, your life forever. All because you forgot to put your eye protection on when you started shooting. Look, I get it. We're all guilty of not wearing our eye protection from time to time. But if you're on the range without eye pro, you're playing a high stakes game of poker with your vision. As of 2025, your eyes are still medically irreplaceable. There's no excuse not to wear eye pro. So let's talk about it just for a second and get into what is out there on the market today. Here's the why. There is a lot of potential hazards on the range. Fragmentation from targets, ricochets, hot brass and gas from your neighbor, and potential catastrophic firearm malfunctions are all on the list of hazards out here on the range. And if you've ever experienced one of these things, then I don't really need to tell you or go too in depth with you on why your eye protection is so critical. For the uninitiated, bullets in firearms don't always behave when you're shooting. It's a rare occurrence, fortunately, but a real threat that could happen to you. A slight imperfection in your ammunition or an angle of impact on your target, and you've got metal shards flying at speeds over 1,000 feet per second coming back at you. They can puncture your eye or cause traumatic abrasions, and that's really just the tip of the iceberg on why we need to wear eye protection out at the range. As a shooter, you should take these things seriously, even if you've never experienced it before. Eye injuries are a brutal reality, and there's a reason that your range safety officer is always carrying a dozen extra pairs of safety glasses with them at the range. We'll start here. Impact ratings are what make or break eye protection, literally. At a minimum, you're looking for a rating of ANSI Z87.1. You may have also heard this called ANSI. It's the gold standard for occupational eye protection tested by the American National Standards Institute. The basic impact test drops a 1-inch steel ball from 50 inches to check for low energy hazards. For high velocity protection, which is what most ranges require, by the way, look for that Z87 plus mark. Now, molten metal splash and penetration resistance are optional add-ons under Z87.1, and they're marked separately if included, with something like an M for molten metal droplets. You're usually going to find the Z87 or Z87 plus marking laser etched or stamped on the lenses or on the temples of the glasses. If you're taking this very seriously, you can step up to a true ballistic-rated protection like the MIL-PRF 31013 or EN166 standards designed for military-grade threats from explosions or high-speed ricochets. MIL-PRF 3113 tests against a 15 caliber fragment simulator at a velocity of up to 2,000 feet per second, and it often requires tough polycarbonate lenses that are 2 to 3 millimeters thick with side shields for full face coverage. Now for EN166, that's an F marking, which is resistance to higher energy fragments, but it's not the same as your mil specs. Ballistic gear is going to prioritize V0 limits, which is a no penetration at test speeds over the basic impact. The markings are going to be laser etched onto the frame or the lenses. You're not going to see stickers with any of these ratings at all. The most important thing to remember is that real ANSI protection is going to be marked on the glasses with a laser etching or a stamp. There will not be a sticker on the frame. If you can't find that little marking, maybe borrow some safety glasses from a friend or the RSO until you can verify the test results of the glasses that you're entrusting your ocular eyeballs to. We'll start simple. You've all probably seen these. They're a pair of basic safety glasses, and you've probably seen them on the range or at the workshop or in your garage. These things are the workhorse in the range and on the job site. They're affordable, they're effective, and they're what most beginners grab. They're also going to be what most guys are running for backups in their range bags. So if you forgot your eye pro, chances are you're probably going to be using these. For the core features with these guys, it's pretty straightforward. At this price point, you're getting raw polycarbonate lenses with nerdy side shields, and if you're lucky, they might even have little plastic extendo arms that you can use to get a better fit on your face. If you don't already know where to get these guys, I'm gonna make it real simple for you. Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's, your favorite local hardware store, even Walmart, maybe on Amazon, and also at your favorite online retailer, wink wink, we're all gonna have them. Look for that Z87 Plus marking, and then just grab a 3 or a 5 pack of them, toss them in your range bag. If this is the route you're gonna go, you can never have too many spares, and Greg is definitely going to accidentally take them home. Most common and even more trendy, however, are actual wraparound shooting glasses, like these. Over the years, companies like Oakley, Wiley X, ESS, and even more recently Gators and Stinger have all been producing everyday wear sunglasses that have the ANSI Z87.1 or ANSI Z87 Plus rating. With these, you're going to lose the dorkiness of your standard safety glasses, but maintain the same protection rating while picking up the added benefits of anti-fog features, increased comfort, interchangeable lenses that let you swap out your tint on the fly, and I mean, you're just going to look cooler on Instagram. Outside of being able to wear these safety glasses as your everyday sunglasses, there's a few added benefits here. First, you've got the lens color options, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Then you've got the anti-fog features that a lot of these are going to come with straight out of the box. These are hydrophilic or hydrophobic coatings, and they're super common in this space. You might see them with a fancy trademark name like the Clear Zone Flow Coat or something else, but they're all essentially going to do the same thing. If your selected glasses have this anti-fog coat, it's a barrier that's baked into the lens that acts to wick moisture away, preventing them from fogging up and blocking your vision when you're dealing with high humidity or a lot of sweat. To check for this when you're shopping and you're actually physically looking at glasses, just pick them up and do a quick breath on them like this. And you're gonna get good results. No one likes foggy glasses. I mentioned it a second ago and told you that we'd get into lens tint, and I wanna do that. But before we get too into it, I'm gonna preface this section with the fact that it's all purely subjective and it can vary based on the manufacturer's glasses that you're looking at. Everyone has different eyes, and some of you might like yellow lenses and hate rose lenses. Some people are gonna like the Stinger dark lenses and absolutely hate the ESS dark lenses. At the end of the day, what I'm about to tell you is based on the thought process that went into the engineering behind each tint. And you might disagree with me, and that's okay. Ultimately, you're gonna make the best choice for yourself for when you're picking out your glasses. I don't have your eyes, and your decision matters way more than what I think. Let's start with clear lenses. Zero tint, 85 to 90% light transmission here. They're also gonna be your go-to for indoor ranges or low light scenario range sessions. They don't alter the colors, so you see the true target hues without any distortion whatsoever. If you have shooting glasses that are stylized and double as your sunglasses, I always recommend that guys get a second set of clear lenses and keeping them in the case, and then keeping that case inside of your range bag. You can't go wrong with a set of these, and you're always going to be thankful when you do eventually find yourself in a situation where you need clear lenses. Now, for yellow or amber tints, these are going to boost the contrast by filtering blue light. They're engineered for low light hunts or overcast days and shadowy indoor shooting bays at your local gun range. They make greens and browns really pop against the backgrounds, sharpening your aim without cutting too much brightness at about 80% light transmission for most manufacturers. Theoretically, these are for precision rifle and pistol in dim conditions, but they're a solid skip if you're out in bright sunlight because they can feel a little bit too warm for a lot of people. Then you've got the rose and the vermilion lenses. With these, you're trying to filter out specific wavelengths of light to enhance your depth perception and contrast in variable light. These are often favored for clay shooting and 3-gun matches. That's where you're going to see them the most. They warm up the view, making it easier to track fast-moving targets. They have about a 20 to 40% light transmission, and you're going to see some guys that absolutely swear by these, and then there's other guys that they hate them pretty hardcore. But again, that's a user preference thing. So try them out. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. Now, with gray or smoke lenses, these are the sun slayers. They're just regular old sunglasses for the most part. They reduce the overall glare with neutral color balance at 15 to 25% transmission of light. They're built for high noon outdoor ranges or desert or snow shoots where there's a lot of additional light reflection off of the surrounding areas where you might be shooting. They cut intensity without skewing your reds or your greens. And I mean, guys, if you've ever worn sunglasses, then you know what these lenses are. Now, polarized lenses deserve their own special shout out because they're a game changer for certain environments, but they're not a slam dunk for every shooter or scenario. You've got to know the trade-off with your polarized lenses, so let's talk about it for a second. The tech works by embedding a special film that blocks horizontal light waves, killing that blinding glare that's bouncing off of wet targets or shiny steel plates or even water surfaces if you're out doing a duck hunt from the back of a boat. They also work to dull out some of that light that's flashing off the brass laying on the back of your range since no one's ever cleaned the range. If you've never used polarized lenses, they're great for, think like tracking a moving bird or trying to hit a really far gong that's got some harsh light shining on it. But here's the catch. Polarized lenses can mess with optics. Holographic red dots, reflex sights, or even some scopes are gonna get dimmed or possibly blacked out because it clashes with the polarized emitters inside of the optic. I've seen guys go blind to their dot in classes because borrowed polarized lenses wiped everything out. It's the same issue with LCD screens on shot timers or other range electronics like cell phones and clocks. It's not ideal for indoor bays or low angle shooting where glare isn't the enemy. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna get polarized lenses, make sure that you test it with all of your equipment to make sure everything jives well before you get out on the range. This is also why I suggest everyone keeps a plain Jane pair of clear lenses in their eye protection case, because you just never know when your lenses are gonna be the culprit for a problem when you're out on the range and the sun's doing a weird thing. A set of backup clear lenses is just always worth having. Trust me on this one. Keep them in your range bag. You can send me an email later and thank me about it. Now, speaking of testing with your setup, if you're one of the 150 million Americans who need prescription lenses, don't sweat it. There's a lot of options for you guys on the market today to get your regular glasses up to safety standards, even with a prescription. Here's 3 solid routes that you can take. First and foremost, you can get some clip-ons for your regular eyeglasses. Now, clip-ons are polycarbonate RX lenses that are super cheap, and they're gonna attach right onto the inside of what you're already wearing every single day. Are they the sexiest thing on the face of, well, you? Probably not, but they're gonna get the job done on the cheap, and they're also gonna keep you protected. Second, and probably more nerdy, you can get a pair of over glasses or fit overs. We're not gonna get too deep onto these, but this is essentially a second pair of safety glasses that you're gonna wear over the top of your prescription frames to add a layer of protection between your glasses and your face. Last, and this is definitely going to be your best option, you can get actual RX safety lenses that you can pop right into the frames of a lot of the high-end options for eye protection that are out there. Guys, companies like Oakley, Wiley X, and Gators all offer this as a direct feature where you can buy with your prescription baked into the lenses. For other brands that might not have that capacity, you can go to a company called Replace RX, and they're going to let you send your frames in, and then you can get custom-made prescription lenses that are gonna meet ANSI standards. It's gonna basically give you eye protection with your prescription without ruining the look of your frames. All right, now let's go over some stuff that guys that don't wear glasses on the regular might not know. For our non-ocularly challenged viewers, gear like this doesn't last forever if you treat it rough. The high-end stuff can last a really long time if you take care of it. I've been using these M frames on the table every single day for the last 7 years, and they've only lasted this long because I did my part in maintaining them. To clean your lenses, grab a microfiber cloth and approved cleaners like a Zeiss or a Hornady lens spray, really any non-alcoholic formula that's not gonna degrade any lens coatings that you have on your glasses, and then you're gonna mist lightly while wiping in circles from the center out. Once you've done that, buff it dry and you're good to go. This isn't really something that you need to do on your cheaper hardware store safety glasses that cost 10 bucks. But if you spend a pretty penny, it's worth doing this to increase the longevity of your lenses and get the most life out of your glasses possible. It's also going to get your kids' fingerprints off of them, which when you work with someone like CJ, you have to do. Outside of cleaning your glasses, you're also going to need to inspect them regularly. The ANSI rating doesn't mean a whole lot if your lenses have been used for 10 years and they're full of micro cracks and abrasions. Guys, you got to check these things out. Inspections are your early warning system. Do it every other week if they're your everyday glasses, or after every range trips to catch any issues before they catch you lacking. Start by holding the lenses up to a strong light, like sunlight or a bright bulb or this studio light, and then just tilt them around. You're looking for hairline cracks or spiderweb patterns. These will start tiny from micro impacts, but can spider out under stress or extreme temperature changes, just like your car windshield. This turns a ricochet block into an oxide does ballistic torture test video, and nobody wants that. Next, you're gonna scan for pitting. And these are little divots or craters that come from debris hits, like sandblasted spots on the surface of the glasses. To look for these, you're going to run your fingernail gently over the lens, and if it snags or dipped, that's pitting, and it means you've compromised the integrity of your lenses. It's probably time for me to get a replacement set of safety glasses at this stage. Realistically, with proper care, you should be considering replacement lenses every 1 to 2 years if you're using the glasses frequently or after any serious impact that stresses the integrity of the lenses. Do not gamble on lenses like these, guys. Risking your vision is never worth it, and that especially goes for you guys that are wearing your reading glasses on the range and pretending they're safety glasses. Yeah, we all see you. Also, budget doesn't mean bogus. A $20 DeWalt Z87 Plus is gonna crush the threats just the same as your Oakleys. And you can grab a pack of them on the low at any hardware store. Sure, you don't get the anti-fog features all the time, and they definitely don't look as cool on Instagram, but being able to see Instagram is a whole lot cooler than looking like a pirate because you caught some steel plate spalling in the face. Balance is everything. Splurge if you're competing or buying your daily drivers, but save money on your backup. Remember, kids, safety first. And if you want to know more about range safety equipment, check out this video on hearing protection right here.